Iron Reach StarCraft League. So the first game is going to be Nothership versus EnamorD. And so we begin. EnamorD also goes by Anric this game. And let's... yeah, that's the start. Anric sends the first Overlord across. And let's see who they are. So Nothership is going to be Protoss on the bottom left, the blue Protoss. Anric, the green Zerg on the top right. Both of these players have okay manners. Nothership puts his pylon in the front. Now the reason is that versus Zerg, you might be worried about about Zerglings. So it's good to have a good wall that goes this way to block them. It's only good versus Zerg because Zerg are the ones with basic melee attack units. And Protoss have them too, but that's a bit more complicated. Hey Aaron. And Anric goes hatch first, very common Zerg build. Stream just started now, yeah. Nothership is actually playing very safe supply-wise. Let's see what... yes, Nothership has the expand first. Nothing crazy is happening yet. Yeah, that's the beginning of the game. So that I think that was pool gas. This is and these will be drones too. So not much being made. This map is Eternal Empire. It was very popular in the ladder. Still is. It's leaving. And it's a very open map, but it's got basically these two routes to engage. You can go this way, and through here, into the main base. And you can take long ways around, like here, these very open spots. Longer ways mean you can move a bigger army without it getting stuck, but they're longer. It's a very good map for Terran mech. Now, Nothership's wall seems to be a little weird, I think. Can a unit get through there? I think a unit can get through there, but that is a bit of a path. You've got an Overlord watching over everything Nothership does. Probes being spawned. And a sentry. Now sentries are generally good, especially if you have like a few of them there, but they're good support. They're not great army. So we'll see what comes in after the sentry. A stalker. Now a stalker is a good army unit. Now I said this wall off is very good against Zerg. It's not as good against Protoss because while Zealots are common, Protoss' first attack unit, like you see here, is usually a stalker or an adept. And ranged units can deal pretty well with walls. Anric is going roaches, going 2 base roaches, which is very safe or very aggressive. But getting speed. Okay, this seems like a very typical older vibe build. Where you build roaches and build out and macro up, but do it as safely as possible. And that's the attack range, the attack, the speed. And ideally by the time they're done you have a good 10-12 roaches, and that can be a killer first attack. Nothership is building a third base, and he's doing it before the Zerg has a third base. Now the Zerg builds a third base, but in general, you don't want to be bases ahead as a Protoss unless you know you've just beaten a fight or something, because that means the Zerg might be investing in army. Now, Nothership hasn't seen that it's roaches, but is building Immortals, which are the roach counter. This army in general, the Sentry, Stalkers, and Immortal, that is a very, very good counter. Game music is a little loud, so let's lower that to 40. I don't need the music that much. Sorry. And yeah, probes are going to start mining before the Nexus is done. Now, I don't know whether it's better to send them out to mine before the Nexus is done or just have an overstuffed mineral line. For newer players, these numbers above the Nexus and the assimilators are how many workers would be good on that thing. Another ship getting a Twilight Council. I'd like to see a Forge too, but no Forge yet. Anric, on the other hand, is starting to spread out with Creep, which is very good. Creep will really help a Zerg army. And how many units is that? That is 7 roaches. That is not anywhere near enough roaches for 3 bases. That is very greedy. And it's very greedy, but another ship still has more probes, so mildly worrying. And 4th base is coming down. As is +2 and Hydralisk upgrades. Hydralisks and Roaches are a very, very good basic army. And another ship is getting a 4th base too. Both of these players are very, very happy to stay in their side of the map, you know, not bug each other. 7 minutes, neither of them have really seen the other's army. Although Anric has probably seen it a little. But yeah. I'm just curious. Anric's overlords are mostly going to the main, but there are a few in the past that an air unit might sneak in with, which is very, very good. Sneaky Protoss with warp prisms is a problem. Yeah, and that's not too uncommon, especially if players who aren't lunatics. A lot of players will prefer to turtle up, get an army, and then move out with a big army. And Nothership is far more on his way than than Anric is. Getting Archons, which I think are like the strongest unit in the Protoss arsenal. Immortals are a great counter to Roaches, but I generally hate them. I would much rather see any other unit. But that's just my own personal preference, not actual legitimate reasons. Anric has a really nice upgrade lead, but Nothership is starting to make up for that with 3 forges somewhere. Where are the 3 forges? Okay. Defenses are being built on the 4th base. That's very good, especially with the army on the 3rd base. Nothership is very, very safe. Anric's army is there. And more Archons. Where are the forges? I don't see them. Oh, here they are. I don't see what the Chronos are being used for. I'm sure something good, but yeah, both players have pretty much stopped building workers, though Zerg is always going to need workers. Anric has that one with his army accidentally. And yeah, I'd like to see more creep spread, because creep is just the best thing in the world for Zerg. If you have creep all over the map, your units are stronger, they heal faster, they move faster, and your opponent can't build there. Plus you see what's going on. Yeah, both are getting to a 5th base. Now it'll be 10 minutes without a fight, with, you know, the only reason Anric knows what's going on is because of an Overlord. But even the Overlord doesn't really see the Archons. Might see the move out. Let's see what Anric is looking at. Anric is macroing up, making sure his bases are okay, but not really moving out. Both have 200 armies, so now it's a question of banks, and Anric's bank is much better. But this army composition is much worse, because the Roaches will die to the Immortals, and the Hydralisks are glass cannon. Once their Roaches are dead, they're in trouble. But it does look like I was wrong. It could be the upgrade lead, but they're dead, and I missed that no more Roaches, because Nothership was tricky. Sent a few Zealots to kick in the wall. Oh. The some AoE from the Protoss, the Archons would have worked if they hadn't gotten stuck behind the Immortals. Now, Anric is sending his army to counterattack. Now if he counterattacks the 4th, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Same with if he counterattacks the 3rd, really, because that's a pretty good group against Hydralisks. Though that's a pretty big amount of Hydralisks. Nope. Attacking the 2nd. Getting stuck in the little choke point, which is very, very good for another ship. And yeah. Archons and Zealots are making very short work of the Hydralisks. The Immortals are helping, but the Immortals really aren't that great against Hydralisks. A Colossus would have been vicious. That's 29 Hydralisks on the way. That's the great advantage Zerg has. And 1 Immortal. So yeah, another ship should be a little bit concerned here. That is a safe mineral line from Zealot attacks, but it doesn't seem to be... but it won't help against an army that much. So while another ship is at generally good tech, and good upgrades, he finally beat Anric's upgrades, I didn't even notice that. I would like to see Anric go up in tech. Though, that might not be necessary. Anric's got a crazy economy going on. Yeah, Zerg Remax is one of their big strengths. Anric has a crazy economy, he has Zerg Remax, he has a unit that's kind of a glass cannon, but when they're in that quantity, they can still do a ton of damage. Both are at good income, but again, Anric is the lead with the income. Workers too. Honestly, Anric can just send wave after wave of Hydralisks into the meat grinder, because it works. So while I would like to see siege breaker units like Ultralisks or like Broodlords, they're not gonna be needed. And yeah, kinda looks like Anric agrees with 11 Hydralisks on the way. Oh shit, what did I do? Sorry. Yeah. I don't know how to check for buildings, and I'm worried about pressing more buttons. I'll try. Nope, I don't know what the button is to look at buildings, but I would like to see just how many warp gates does Nothership have. Okay, Nothership has the buildings, but not the economy, and that's a problem. Nothership needs an economy fast because Anarch's gonna win on pure Hydralisk moveouts. In spite of a lesser economy, in spite of a lesser upgrade advantage, in spite of a lesser tech advantage, I mean, yeah, that's the power of sheer macro. So another good macro move would be to expand again. A lot of stuff Anarch could be doing but doesn't need to because Hydralisks are enough. Mothership needs to be really cautious. Mothership can't afford to lose units like that. And Stalkers are okay, but I use that money for units that can do more damage, like Colossus and Archons. Mothership not gonna give this base up without a fight. Probably good because it's one of the best mining bases. But this is rough. I don't see a good way out of it. And in the meantime, production-wise, I mean, Anarch's just constantly producing. Anarch's been at 200 supply this whole fight, no matter how many Hydralisks he lost. He's just ready to send in more. Yeah, they're on an A move. And Archons are great, but they need a meat shield there. Yeah, they're not being microed at all. Well, that's another base being built. More production. And that's the GG. That was game one. Game one, victory for Anarch. And I will set up game two. So this looks like it's going to be on one of my least favorite maps. It's got some slightly interesting quirks, but in general I just don't like the look of it. But on the top left on Death Aura, Nothership, the blue Protoss. And on the bottom right, Anarch, the green Zerg. Now Death Aura has a few things. First of all, it's a slightly smaller map, not by much. It does have these, which make moving through the middle much faster in a zigzag. Units move through these things in acceleration zone generators. See, that probe moved fast, moved slow, now it will move fast. And yeah, it's a pretty fast scouting probe. But Anarch doesn't really have tech to scout. Building that first hatchery? Okay, that's a sign. You're not getting 12 gold. The other special thing about this map is these rich geyser bases, which are very easy to attack from all directions, but give you a lot more Vespene. Nothership is doing what looks like a similar thing as last game. This wall off needs only 2 buildings, not 3. So it's also easier to hold against Zerglings, but as we've seen, Anric doesn't really seem to like Zerglings. The Overlord is on his way. Going to scout and go to this pillar. Is there another pillar near this area? No. So that means this map is actually not as great for Zerg. Probes are doing long distance mining without a nexus being constructed yet. But yeah, once they're at 400, I'm sure we'll see a nexus going down. Okay, pure focus on probes. Let's see. Warp gate being researched. Is there going to be a wall blocker? Yep, a stalker. Yes, this one is Death Aura. See? Here. It's actually a pretty nice looking map. I don't know why I hate it. That's either a mammoth, or a space mammoth, or an ultralisk. Oh, I did not see this happening. But here's a proxy pylon. And it's on the 4th or 5th. Probably 5th. But it's gonna be spotted by this Overlord. Let's see. Passing the wood bridge, sees the pylon. Let's see how Anric responds to this. Yeah, no immediate response, but that is something to notice. Does Nothership see the Overlord? No, Nothership doesn't know that his secret plan's been found out. And the Dark Shrine? Oh, this can get really filthy. Dark Shrine, a gateway. Now, a gateway here would be very helpful, because it would mean that instead of taking 11 seconds to spawn, the Dark Templar would take 4 seconds. And that matters when your opponent is seeing this. Even though, again, Anric isn't doing anything yet. Let's see where these roaches head, because maybe the roaches will head to the pylon. Dark Shrine is done. If Nothership wants, he can make, as I said, 2 Dark Templar. Now these guys don't have a lot of life, but they deal a ton of damage, and they're invisible. And there is no detection. Anric does have a lair, so he can make an Overlord, an Overseer, but he's going to be taking some damage. And the damage is started. Let's see Anric's point of view. Yeah.
Our drones are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Some micro would have led those DTs directly to the drones, but no. Overseer being made and Spore Crawler being made. Again, some micro would get him to be able to kill that Spore Crawler, but it's gonna finish, and that Dark Templar is done. Pretty much. Yeah. So it was nice while it lasted. Nope, the third is still going to be going through some stuff. Overlords don't detect. Overseers detect. Overseers and Spore Callers are Zerg's main detection. There's a few other small niche things, but it's mostly that. And now that the Spore Colony is done, Roaches can generally do pretty well against Dark Templars because they're tanky and they deal enough damage. And this Overseer is following that Dark Templar, who really just wants to kill a few drones. But it's done. Now, we can say that it went okay for Anric because he got all the Dark Templars, but this is a hell of a lead that Nothership got, and that's hard to beat. And beyond that, there's also, I mean, it's not spoken about enough, but there's psychological damage in your opponent doing something like this that makes you completely rethink your strategy. And it's why, when you look at Army, I mean, those are 2 Zerglings from a player that didn't build Zerglings. How long it takes? No, spending the larva. Okay. I like to keep this on production tab because it's a good way to know what players are planning. And next up is, yeah, the Colossi. 2 robo facilities building Colossus. Phoenix sent for scouting, which was really missing last game. Nothership really brought it up a notch after last game. With scouting, with this proxy, with the Dark Templars. An Immortal's there for Roaches, but there's a Colossus because I'm not going to lose to Hydralisks again. I love that Colossus skin, by the way, the Tal'Darim Colossus. And yeah, just counting bases. Could move the Colossus here, get vision on the Overlord, and attack, because Colossus count as flying units for cliffs, pretty much. They're just very tall. Yeah, where I said earlier that I don't like quit when Protoss is ahead in bases, this is the unless. If a Protoss has managed to deal this much damage, you can go wild. You can have an extra few bases. But in general, Zerg always wants to be ahead in bases. Protoss and Terran should equal the Zerg in bases. Always exceptions. This is one. And that, I mean, it's kind of a ninja expansion, but not really. And Hydralisks passing by this pylon, but nobody's killing it. Now it's dead. Is there going to be a counterattack? No, a counterattack wouldn't be smart. Anric's gonna need to do something to get ahead, because both of these players are macroing, both of these players are building up, but one just has an insane lead over the other. So what can Anric do? I mean, can beat him on tech, but Food Lords might be good lurkers. Or you can do something tricky, try to get a Nidus Worm in, destroy his production. But again, the Protoss counterattack would be rough. Yeah, that's multiple pylons in production, not super necessary considering, but you know, that's really sweating the small stuff. Anric's already overmining this one. He's there as far as workers go. But yeah, moving them where? Okay, moving them to these. Yeah, Anric needs the gas for Hydralisks. Hydralisks are very gas intensive. Yeah, +2 attack, but that just makes the Hydralisks even more glass cannony. Another ship is moving up. He's a 200-200, no reason not to move out. Gonna be a dick with those warp prisms, maybe. Armies A moving an empty base. Now gathering like this. I'd love to see detection. Is there detection in this army? Yes. Hydralisks are coming in, but that is a lot of Colossus. And they have a very nice one. And this army just melts. Beautiful. All that's left are Colossi, which probably should head back because you don't want them to be taking the damage. But that's still a win. All of the High Templar have been dropped. That is a pause. And there is Storm. Yeah, I did right. There was Storm on the mineral lines that I didn't mention. Egg Orange. And yeah. So I wanted some caution from the Colossi, but I was wrong because they're just killing everything. There's a wave of stalkers to reinforce now. Anric's throwing stuff at the wall, hoping some of it'll stick, but getting Mutalisks. You don't want Mutalisks versus Stalker or Archon High Templar. You don't want Mutalisks against armies really in general. Unless you have a critical mass, you're not going to get them. Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, that's the GG. And that is 1-1 for another ship. And that is very good, very cool. So this is a 2-1 game. Next game decides it all. Game 3 is on Eternal Empire? I hope it's not the same game. If I made that mistake and downloaded the same game twice, that's a problem. No, I think top right is Nothership and top left is Anric. And I'm trying to remember if they were in these places in game 1. No, I would have remembered. Nope. This is game 2 in the same map as they did. This is game 3 in the same map as they did game 1. let's see if they both learned their lessons. Nothership saw the power of early aggression. We're going to see if he'll do the same again. Yeah, they're both doing the same build orders. Pretty much. Pylon here. Probe scout. No proxy pylon for fun stuff. Yeah, spawning pool, wait until it's about half built to build the extractor. And it's a 2018 5 bronze to GM, which is a very good build, I think. Again. And yeah. Nexus. Expand. 2 queens on the way. Overlord on the 3rd instead of the pillar. And then heading back. Which, I mean, there isn't really a good reason for Protoss to take such an early 3rd. So it's kind of an unnecessary path. Overlord going to the Sky Gap here instead of the pillar. Which, sure. And two gateways, 2 pylons. Is this a full wall up? Can a unit get through these two? I don't think a unit can get through these two. Might be a misplay. Or maybe I'm just stupid. Both of these players are pretty much producing workers exclusively. Enric is getting upgrades, but no roaches yet. Nothership is also focusing purely on economy. I mean, 2 stalkers, but now 7 roaches are on their way out. Beauty of Zerg, it can go from no roaches to 7 roaches in production without losing a beat. I'd love to see early roach pressure before another ship has any real army, but I don't think I will. But 8 roaches are definitely a good number. With another 7 on the way, 15 roaches are an even better number. You can definitely do some damage with 15 roaches. Yeah, and the 8 roaches are on the way. Are they going to be joined? Yeah. That's a few more roaches. Phoenix is going to see these roaches. How is another ship going to react? Tech hasn't noticed them. Now they're all at the Zelnaga Tower, which is vision, but yeah, now they move up. They're moving here, here, yeah. Okay, giving up on beating the army, he's decided to mess with the mineral one. Get revenge for the Dark Templar stuff. Another ship attacking with probes, which is a really bad idea. Because what he wants is to attack your mineral line. You don't want your mineral line to be easy for him to kill. You want to move them forward. And yeah. Enric just lost his army. But made the economy a tiny bit in his favor. Not enough, I think. I mean, maybe enough, considering how much he has banked. If he can spend all that. But that's a very, very good amount. I know I dislike Immortals, but against the pure Roach army, Immortals are just so much better than Colossi. Yeah, we're going to see Psystorm, Colossi. Yeah, it's not going to be pure Roach. Hydralisk on the way. Building anti-run-by and air defenses. Spine and Spore in every base except for the third, which doesn't have a spine. Workers are starting on the fourth here. Anarchist filled the fourth there. Yeah. Another ship has the army advantage. Anarch has a huge... I was about to say... I was saying and then they... Yeah, I was about to say Anarch has a huge economic advantage, but then Anarch turned that economic advantage into an army advantage, which is good. Army's almost even, economy's almost even. But let's look at army compositions. Because 8 Roach, 24 Hydra. And against a much higher tech army. Now it's a bit fragile, but you know, it's maybe like you can turn some of these into Archons, but not a bad army in any way. Especially with the Zealots being added, so that it's not as fragile anymore. Yeah, doing the Zealot High Templar way method of balancing your army. Another Robo Bay is in production, in addition to these two. That is a lot of Robo Bays, but Mothership is near maxing out. And that is the Roach Hydra army. Kills the fifth. Anarchist producing 20 Hydra, just notice. But another ship lost 35 supply, 40. And the army's back. That's a free overseer snipe, if he notices. But honestly, he's not going Dark Templars. Corruptors, which will be great against the Colossus. And air attacks. Yeah. Anarch is trying to get the upgrade advantage, but needs army. And yeah, that is 9 Colossi. That is a lot of Colossus. And that's also a lot of Archon to defend them from Corruptors. But, now where's the army headed? I don't know. Which base? Oh, they're going to no base yet. Do they have an observer for creep? Yes, they do. Yeah, another ship's been ahead. Another ship managed to gain back the ground he lost from Falar's attack. My prediction is that this is the end of it for Anarch, because another ship's armor is just too good versus Anarch's. Yeah, going Greater Spire now. It's too little too late. Blue Voids aren't ready with this armor in the first place. All these Hydralisks just walk to their deaths, don't even fight, just accept it. That's what's known as the painful rally point. Drones are all in one pile where the Archons and Colossus can kill them more easily. Hydralisks try to attack, Colossus have the higher ground, yeah. Looks like a GG. Those are Corruptor eggs. Didn't even see where the first Corruptors went. But obviously all the Colossus are near perfect health. So didn't matter that much. Colossus, if they're like anything, yeah, that's GG. Colossus are like a mix between Thor and tanks in Terran Tech Tree. Yeah, so before I do the next matches, which I will, I'm gonna need to take a break, rest my voice a tiny bit, and eat something because I haven't eaten today and it's very late. And I will be back for the next 2 rounds, but another ship wins in the Mistings League, and that game is a 2-1.